Welcome to the Two-Ton Nerds. As always, I am Max James.
And I helped. My name is Scott Cooper.
Alright, that's what I thought. Scott, I know we're a little late covering this certain subject, but we're going to be talking about a video game that we both played.
I don't know about you, but I didn't play it, Max.
You lived
I
it?
did not play it all. You took my line away.
Well, you can only say you experienced it. It's like
No, I lived it, okay?
You
Like,
lived
for a good solid 3 days, my character, my life, my story, okay? I don't know what story you were told. I don't know what story you somehow manifested on your screen, but the story that I lived or experienced, use that one too, is is was good, very good. So yeah,
all right, we're talking
in
about
your face.
We're talking about Last of Us, the video game by Naughty Dog. We should say this beforehand that there's going to be some
Spoilers.
major spoilers.
No,
So
no, no, you gotta say it. You gotta say it like how I said it.
no, I'll pass.
Spoilers.
Well, okay. Well, anyways, that's for the people who don't want.
If we were in college, we would be the produced spoiler makers.
Okay, that's funny. Okay, well, let's kind of get our rating out of the way, shall we? So,
Yeah, in case like we're going to be talking about the spoilers a little bit later on, and we will, I will announce when that is going to happen. But we'll get the rating out of the way. I assume that's what you wanted to do. I don't know why I interrupted you on that fact, but I kind of figured that was the point in time where I need to elaborate more.
yeah. Okay. Anyways, what's your rating for The Last of Us?
Oh. You go first.
Me? It's
No, I'll go first. I beat it first.
I bought it first.
No, you go first. You bought it first. You go first. You bought it first.
I give it a perfect score.
What's that
whatever.
say about you?
What do you mean?
You bought it before me.
A day.
You did.
A solid
you
day
it
before you.
A solid day before me, and I beat it a solid 2 days before you. What's that say about you, and what's that say about me?
That you have more free time than I do, and you have a job.
What do you do all day? Do you save children's lives or something? Are you a superhero?
No, I have I do other things.
I know you do. I mean, you help take care of the little ones or whatnot. I know that, and I know all the shit you got to do. So I'm just like,
Last of Us came out during like a weird,
a busy week for you.
Yeah, it's like I'm like, oh, I have nothing going on this weekend, and then all of a sudden everything happened, and I'm like, oh. So I couldn't sit down, and plus I had kind of a headache, and I was like, oh, I'm not. It's just one of those games where it's visually, and my eyes would not handle what was going on screen. So I'm like, I'll just play it when I feel like it, and I finally got around to do it. All right. Anyways, your rating. I said mine was perfect.
Now, well, before I tell you mine,
Okay.
I'm going to tell you that I grade on a scale of 1 to 10. And that I don't believe this game deserves a 1, okay?
It's obviously.
Yeah, I just don't think. Now, I don't think it deserves a 5 either, okay?
So
because a 5 is average, okay?
So it's better than average and it's not.
Now, I don't
poor.
think it deserves a 9 either, okay? It doesn't deserve a 9.
So it's almost.
So it's gonna be an 11, okay? Like, I gotta give it an 11, all right?
So you're gonna like.
I'm gonna break the freaking bar because this game is the best game I have played in 4 years.
4 years?
Okay. Yeah, I would say 4 years since Uncharted 2. Okay, this is the best game I played since Uncharted 2.
Which is also by Naughty Dog.
Yeah, so am I surprised that the same company delivered the two, what I consider best games of the whole entire generation? No, but is it kind of sad that the same company delivered the two best games of the generation, easily? Then, I'm just going to be like, hey, everyone, if you want to know how to make a video game and you want how to make a video game work. Look at those two games and understand something. That is how it's done. The Last of Us, to me, is the pinnacle of what this generation was about, and that is the evolution of storytelling in video games.
So you're telling me that it's not all Call of Duty and first-person shooters and online?
No, I mean, like, understand that's fun. That really is.
Yeah, because we play a lot of Call of Duty online.
Yeah, I mean, we do play a lot of Call of Duty. Call of Duty is a fun game.
Yeah.
However, in a comparison or two, I like to watch, cartoons every now and then on my television, okay?
Yeah.
I like to watch those for fun.
Yeah.
But every now and then you get in the mood where you want to watch an excellent story, where you want to watch something that you can just be immersed in completely. I'll give you things like Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, for example. These are stories that you become immersed with the characters, and the characters, you're there with them. I'll give you a great example. I mean, I love scenes like in the Fellowship of the Ring, where where everyone's gathered around talking about the ring, in Rivendell. You feel like you're right there in the discussion, I mean, you just want to be like, one does not simply go into Mordor, but you just feel like you're right there. And to me, and the other scene that I can allude to in Star Wars is when Luke is shooting and going to destroy the Death Star. It puts you in the cockpit with him and everything. It's that immersion those movies are able to create that helps in the factorization of, look, this is something that I can relate to because these characters are so relatable.
So
yes, it's a fantastic world and everything like that, but they're down to earth.
So what you're saying is that Last of Us has a movie-esque storytelling ability that some games lack horribly, that couldn't do if they tried on their best day.
Yes, I mean that's pretty much what I'm saying. I mean, I've never bought a Call of Duty for the campaign. I'm gonna tell you that right there. I've never bought, and you just like there's certain games you don't buy for the campaign.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
Games have that same kind of like type of medium that it's like when I buy God of War, I'm looking for over the top action and violence and comedy. Okay, yeah. It's so violent that it's funny, because it gets overly zealous with itself, and it's just one of those things.
All right, so we're gonna get back on track. Last of Us. I know where you're getting at, but you spent 3 minutes explaining your rating when I did it in one word.
That's because you know how I am. I'm a long-winded talker.
Yes, I know. But anyways, so it's you're practically up and beyond a scale that has a measure, pretty much.
Yeah, like mine would be like, okay, on one end of the scale you have a feather, on the other end you have 2,000 pounds. Yeah. Okay, that's my scale right there, Yeah. And 10 out of 10, 10's all across the board.
Okay, so without giving any out spoilers quite yet, what was really so storytelling was the defining factor of all this, or was it like?
Yes and no. It was the storytelling, but it was the type of storytelling it was. It was immersive. Because, there's other games that can tell you a story. It could be like, once upon a time, there was a golden power in a village that lay hidden, and a boy, garbed in green, had to kill the evil with the sword of evil's bane. Legend of Zelda. That game tells a story. You're immersed in that. However, I will tell you right now that no game, other than maybe Bioshock Infinite this year, no game has grabbed me by the balls, tugged me into that world, and just pretty much made me go, wow. Like, these characters are people that I could just walk outside and talk to.
So all right, main characters are Joel and Ellie.
Yes. Joel and Ellie are the two main characters.
Joel is this 50 plus, might as well say.
I don't know if he's 50 plus, because how old is he in? I don't know, because he is 50, but he is a good 50.
About 40 plus. How about that?
Yeah, I thought he was 40 plus, but man, he is a damn good 50.
Yeah, then you got a 14-year-old.
You have a 14-year-old who I believe she just turned 14 recently, who is clearly street smart.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what basically the story of Last of Us is Joel, who is living in this world where this outbreak has happened, and they live in these little areas called quarantine zones, in designated spots in the cities, and then we pick up like mid storyline basically with Tess, another character in the game. That's what I liked about it. It's like you pick up mid storyline after the prologue of the outbreak with Joel and his little girl, his daughter, and then you go on this little side quest. I'm going to call that first part of the game when you and Joel a side quest, because this game, the story doesn't pick up until you meet Ellie.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is like, and it's like how it is with most movies.
Yeah,
it's like there's a build up to it.
Yeah,
and we were discussing this the other night that might have been a flaw for the game. Was just the build up to that part, but it's not really a flaw because it's not the game's fault that after that the game becomes something that goes far beyond a perfect score.
Yeah.
Okay, because at that point in time the game is still a perfect score.
Yeah.
It controls well. The brutality in the first hour and a half was like, I was like amazed. Like I was like, are you serious? That really happened? So I mean, and you can't blame the game for the fact that it's going to take a little bit for it to build up, but the build up made it better.
Well, the first time when you play through it, you don't necessarily feel the build up. You know what I mean? It's like
you don't because you don't know that after that you're going to the top of the roller coaster at this point.
And then when you second play through it, it's like, all right, it's like this is where the game picks up, and that's where you truly want to start. But anyways, all right, the story continues with Joel and Tess kind of getting double crossed, is that accurate? It's like,
well, I mean, if we're going to do this now, we might as well just go full in depth into explain it. So, for those of you who have been waiting to hear this word, spoilers, understand that we are going to be spoiling the entire story for you. Okay?
Yeah.
If you have played it and you want to listen in, that is what this is for you. If you haven't played it, but you want to listen in anyway, go ahead. I'm not gonna be like, oh no, don't listen. But I am going to tell you this: do not rob yourself of playing this game and living the story out for yourself, because it is a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Yes. Okay. So Joel and Tess kind of go on this mission to retrieve some guns that was sold to this radical group that also lives within this world called the Fireflies. And so, in order to get the guns back that they refused to give back to them after the guns were rightfully theirs in the first place, they make a deal to transport
cargo.
Cargo, and that cargo ended up being Ellie,
a 14-year-old girl who they don't really realize at first what they're transporting her for. Yeah. Now, understand something before we go on. This world is a post-apocalyptic world that an infection broke out over 20 years ago that has pretty much turned everyone into kind of infected. Now, they never say zombies, but they're infected. They're monsters. They're not really zombies. They're zombies to a certain extent.
I wouldn't even call them zombies because I don't think they really die.
They're not dead. Yeah, they're not dead. They're just changing into monsters. It's
like the Thing meets it with poison ivy, basically. It's like
exactly. I mean, in the same premise. I mean, if they bite somebody, you become infected. I mean, that's the only similar thing to being zombies they are, and that they have no free control of their will. And actually, I think they paint a worse picture than zombies, because I think inside the mind is still working.
They're aggressive. That's what they are.
Well, what I'm saying though is like from what I was reading in the notes in the story, the infected, I mean, over time they start to lose their mind, deteriorate. But the infected, the first part of it's the runners and stuff. Like they're actually they believe they can still think, but they just can't stop their bodies. They can't, you know what I mean?
That's just speculation.
Yeah, it's just speculation, but can you imagine that? That'd be terrible.
Yeah. Anyways, it's like you're trying to tell your body to do something and it's not listening.
Yeah, exactly. And like to me, that's just awful. So in a way, I think these guys are these things that Naughty Dog has created are better than zombies.
All right, so
because they're a bit more terrifying. But anyway, yeah. What I'm trying to say though is that you understand the world they're living is post-apocalyptic, and as you were saying, they
It's
were
heavily
double-crossed,
run by
and
the
they got to get their
military.
guns, and they have Ellie at this point.
Yeah, this world is heavily run by the military because, I mean,
Yeah, these quarantine zones are run by the military, so you have to dodge and evade them the first hour or so.
Yeah, then when we finally see when the mission starts becoming clearer, is like we gotta transport Ellie to this another group of Fireflies, a little outside the quarantine zone, and then along the way we figure out why Ellie is such an important person. Is that she is immune to the virus, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, she's immune to an infection.
Yeah, that's.
And at first, the characters don't believe her because this is something that's never happened before. Yeah. They show her a bite that happened 3 weeks ago, and you can tell it's aged. It's an aged bite.
Yeah.
In comparison, and they even say it takes only a few hours for them to turn, really.
Yeah.
Or even for them to start to show symptoms.
Yeah, it takes 2 days to turn, but it shows up instantly.
Yeah.
The infection shows up instantly.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then they find out that Ellie is immune, and her blood could be the cure to a vaccine that they've according to notes and dialogue, that they tried in the past but have not succeeded in making, because they've never been able to find someone who was immune to it. Right. And
here this girl is when the game was coming out, I kind of, me and you both kind of knew that was what she was going to be about, but in the way they presented it was, she may be the cure, she may not be.
Yeah.
This is all you got.
Then it's a 3-man team up to this point. It's Joel, Tess, who is Joel's kind of like ragtag buddy in the post-apocalyptic world. And
you really can't call her the ragtag buddy because she's wearing the pants in that outfit.
Yeah, a little bit, but
Joel's the muscle. I mean, that's what Joel is used for. He's the muscle. He's the brute man. Tess is the thinker. She's the operator. She says what goes, but Joel's the one who does it.
But Joel's pretty smart. You can't.
He is pretty smart, but at that point in the game, though.
But the thing is, if it's Joel who's leading them all the way through.
Yeah, it's true. He is. I mean, but you get what I'm saying. It's an equal partnership.
I mean, ragtag meaning like.
Yeah, I know what you meant.
It's not they're good for each other, but they're just qualities that shouldn't mix. But they mix well. And anyways, they're traveling across this really well set, designed post-apocalyptic world where buildings are torn to pieces.
I honestly I've played the shit out of Fallout, but nothing have I seen anything like what they show in The Last of Us.
I mean, there's holes dug out of the building.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
I really think there's a bomb that went off in some of these areas because
you can tell and what's screwed up is it's I don't know about you, but I felt in certain moments that I really wanted to just. I just want to explore these areas. I want to know what happened right here.
It's like sometimes I rather forget the story. I want to know what happened here in this giant.
Exactly, it's like
house-sized hole.
And I love how you can find those notes and stuff like that because then you can find out what happened in those. I'll allude to one of those notes later on in the story. One that's really, really sad.
Yeah,
it really is. It's one of those notes that I found. It was in a boy's room, and it was like I told you, this game is so damn immersive that it puts you in that world and it makes you go. No, how many times have you joked around with your friends oh yeah, world apocalypse, yeah. This is a game that does it, and you're like, I don't want that to happen.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I don't.
Okay. So, anyways, let's continue a little bit. So Tess and Joe and Ellie finally get to their destination with quite a few close calls, and especially with clickers, which they cannot see, but they can hear very, very well.
Like Daredevil on acid.
Yeah.
I mean,
and they got runners and stalkers.
Yes, it's runners and stalkers. Stalkers are just they kind of just Like the thing is like none of them can see.
Runners
I
can.
don't think like they can't like the other like even the infected they can't see your light, everything you shine on them. But like they will hear your ass from 10 miles away.
Yeah, that's why you
Like,
use like bricks and bottles.
Yeah, and that's really and this is like stealth, and they make stealth fun.
Yeah, it really.
And any game that can make stealth fun is already awesome.
Yeah.
Because sometimes stealth is kind of forced. You're like, you know what? I don't want to do stealth here, but stealth here, you're like, oh wow, I get to use my noodle. You know, I get to use my head for once. You know, I'm gonna throw a brick here.
It's
like I'm gonna tell you the incident. Like I'm gonna ask you the first incident where you're with you're going down the stairs. You tell Ellie and Tess to wait. You're inside that building that you're trying to navigate through. You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Yes.
And you have that infected who's down there, and you have that clicker and another clicker behind him. I think.
No, there's only one clicker.
There's only one clicker, but there's 3 infected. I think, right?
4.
How many times did you die?
Oh, the first playthrough, I died at least 6 times, because
I died.
Not because I couldn't. It's not because I couldn't do it. It's just that I wasn't quite sure how to do it. I mean, there's so many ways that you could have done it, but
I mean, first things first. You take out the first one that was down there. Okay, that first infected.
Yeah.
Okay, you take him out, and then I threw the brick to distract the clicker.
Oh, I didn't. I didn't go that route.
Yeah, I threw the brick to distract the clicker, and then I went the other route because I knew that the other infected were roaming in. The clicker was all the way over there. Now, here's the problem. Sometimes, and I loved it because there was no enemy route positioning, really. Like, they're just snooping around the area. They're looking for your ass. Yeah, they know you're there. They're looking for you.
But there is kind of... I think that... I asked you what your biggest complaint was, and my biggest complaint was that if you watch some of these AI just enough, you can pick up their patterns.
Yeah, you can. And you really can, but you have to, like I said, we had to die a few times in order to see
figure that out. Yeah. Well, anyways, and that was a learning experience for sure.
Yeah, it kind of took the difficulty of the game up to like a new level. It was that, and the scene with all those damned army guys.
What army guys?
The one where you're still with Ellie and Tess, and you're going through. It's like kind of like the middle of a town.
Oh.
And they know you're there, or they don't know you're there. And you have to navigate past them. You have to go through that house. You have to throw a brick here, too. And there's that one on the top of the machine gun. Yeah. It's that one that you died on several times.
I'm trying to figure out what scene you're talking about.
It's always at night. It's when it's raining or whatnot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Raining.
Yeah.
Actually, I did that scene within a couple deaths. Nothing. Because I usually just ran right through it.
Yeah, that's the best way to go about it. In all honesty, I mean, and then I forget about the guy who's shooting at me. But it's just best to run past him.
Yeah. Okay. So here's our first major spoiler of the game.
Yeah.
Is that somehow during the capital, during our way to the capital, Tess gets scratched or bitten
or something. It looked pretty bad from where I was sitting.
And then she revealed, and after that she's kind of like very like, we got to get this girl there. We got to do this. We got to complete it.
Because the main thing was you were supposed to get her to the Capitol building because that's where the Fireflies were.
Right.
At least that you were led to believe that we're going to take her to wherever she needed to go. However, you get there and they're all dead.
That was the original deal, was get to the Capitol building. And then things changed.
And now it's just to find a Firefly. Things go down from there. You know, Joel is very apprehensive about doing it, but this is Tess's dying words.
Yeah.
Okay, this is her dying request. She wants to... This girl, she believes, is the savior of all mankind.
Yeah.
And she is dying believing that.
Yeah. And so she dies off to give Joel and Ellie a kind of a head start to get out of the building and continue on their journey. This is where
journey.
This is where the true storyline begins. Is where they have to make it to.
They're trying to make it to, I believe, his brothers.
Yeah, that's the next.
In order to get to his brother, I can't remember his brother's name.
Tommy.
Ronnie?
Tommy.
I knew it was something that rhymed with Ronnie. So so their main goal now is to get a vehicle because obviously it's too far away.
Right.
So now you move into Bill's town.
Yeah, Bill's town.
Bill is a great fucking character.
Yeah, but the thing is, what makes him a great character is what little details pop up towards the end of meeting him. That's what's great about it.
I love like the character interaction between everybody is just great because there are so many secret scenes that you can unlock, or not really unlock, but you can just hear and listen to, and like you feel like you're really there. And this is some stuff that people like us would really say. You know, it's like let's make an observation here, okay? You know, it's like it's just like, and hearing Bill, he's complaining about having this little girl the entire time.
Yeah,
it's just like, why did you have to bring her? Like, why?
Yeah, why?
Like, is there why? Yeah. You know, and you're just like, that Bill would fucking do that the entire time he's bitching and complaining. You're kind of feeling awkward. Like, I'm sorry, Bill, but like I have to bring her.
But the thing,
it's like the entire time she's like, shut up, Bill, I don't like you.
But I'm surprised that Joel never told Bill what happened about Tess, because Bill was just going on and on about Tess, like you guys are inseparable, and Tess would never do this.
I think the reason why, and it's also a thing that the game never played with, but I think that they were so close that it just like Joel just kind of just sifted it away, and maybe there was something there with Tess and Bill or whatnot, but Joel has a reason for keeping his secrets, and Joel is a person that is he's not honest. We know that, and we'll allude to that later. But
who?
He is not an honest man. Joel. He is not an honest man.
No, he's not. He's an honest man to a degree.
Yeah, but he keeps some big lies.
Yeah,
for the greater good.
Yeah, for the greater good.
Yeah.
Anyways, so you and Ellie kind of travel through Bill's town. Then you get.
It's great.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the bloater?
We're not there yet.
Okay.
We're not there yet. But anyways, we're still with Ellie, and we haven't met Bill yet. So it's like,
okay, we're still, yeah. You get there, you get in the town, and
Lincoln, right?
I don't know about you, but did you pick up the 2x4 with scissors on it?
Yeah.
On top of the roof?
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah. What did you think of that?
I liked it.
Like, I was like, what am I doing with this? This thing looks amazing.
Then like you have to navigate through this town, which has booby traps, by the way, and
God, it does.
that I never died during the booby traps, but I kind of shouldn't have. I probably shouldn't have stood so close to a few of them, and kind of took my health down quite a bit.
I died. I only died on one of them. No, I died on two of them because I died on one of them and I was so pissed off that I died on the second one. Because you know the one where you have to just, it's like right outside the door and you have to duck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's right outside the door. You have to duck real quick, and it's right outside the door. I had to duck, and I went inside that one house that one infected is, and I beat the shit out of him. And I did it like 3 or 4 times because I died 3 or 4 times because I didn't realize that inside the gate that you have to walk at, there is a booby. It's booby trapped,
Okay.
and I'm just like, what's really funny is my mom is watching me play this time. Okay, my mom watched me play the entire game. What a trooper! And she's like, do you not want to know what to do? And I'm like, no, I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna sit here and throw shit because I'm really upset. And then next thing I know, I threw the bottle at the door, and the door blows up. I'm like, oh, that's what I do. Okay, holy shit! Wow.
So the town's booby trapped. And which kind of the fault of Joel. He should have known better than budge to that one door like he did.
Yeah,
that was all Joel's fault in that one.
Yeah,
and then a counterweight
he should have known.
Ended up like hanging Joel upside down, swinging, and which attracts infected, and he has to fight off hanging upside down clickers and runners. While Ellie tries to set him free, and that's when we finally meet Bill.
Can I just say that scene took forever? Like, it took her freaking forever to cut me down.
I thought
it was really realistic too, though, because like in any of the game, it's like, oh hey, one chop through the rope and it's gone. No, she's like sitting there sawing at it, and she's like, I'm so sorry. She's like, I'm sorry, I can't do this. It's like, that's how I would be in that reaction. Like, Max, if you flipped upside down, the only way I could do was to cut that refrigerator like that. I'd be like, Max, I'm sorry, but you're kind of fucked. You know, I'm sitting there like, all I got is this little cheap ass knife. It's a little shiv, you know, that somehow Joe crafted out of sugar and bombs.
Broken scissors and binding.
Yeah. So I'm just like sitting there like, trying to cut this damn rope. And, you know, I'm going to say it took a while, but I was like, you know what? That's how it should be. But yeah, you do finally meet Bill, and he made a grand entrance.
Yeah, by macheting people's heads off. And,
Yes.
and he looks like a doomsday prepper to the extreme.
Like, to me, Bill seems like he wanted this to happen.
he was like, come on. Yes.
Yeah, it's like the day that it happened, he probably sat back and opened up a six-pack and was like, yes, finally, I can quit my job that I actually quit over 5 months ago because I knew this was going to happen.
Okay, well, the reason why they went to Bill's town is to get a vehicle, right?
Yeah, because Bill owed Joel a few favors.
And and we don't know what the favors were, but it kind of alludes to like what did he do? Because what comes up later is this whole part of the section is to get a vehicle, and Bill says that there's a military truck that got overran and crashed into a school, and so they're going to go steal the car battery and rig up a vehicle to go. And so they travel through town, and they finally get there, and the battery's gone. And
yeah,
which was it's
like you expect it to happen, because it's like this is right now a shit fest.
Yeah, it's like while being chased at this point.
Yeah. Which, I mean, isn't that like at the time with the bloater and everything?
Yeah, and he runs through the school, and they kind of barricade themselves into
that bloater was a dick. That first one was, because it's like, okay, I'm going to run up to him because I think those little things throwing at him are his weak points. No, they're not. No, it suckers you in because you think you're okay with your shotgun.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he grabs you by the throat and just rips you up.
Rips your face off. And
yeah, rips your freaking face off. And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, I'm going to fight you from a distance. Then he's going to be like, oh, no, I'm going to throw this grenade of my pollen and fungal and spores and stuff, and, you know, you can't do anything. And so now you're like, oh my god.
What was it? This is like the first boss of the game, basically.
Yeah, and like the thing is, like the game doesn't really have any bosses. It just has those situations that are harder than most.
Yeah, exactly. That's why.
But this is like a boss fight because you're like, I don't know if I have anything to kill this guy.
Yeah, exactly. They give you very few materials, and you're just going to wing it if you don't have anything. And so a bloater it's the infected that has been infected for a very, very long time, and just the infection.
Yeah, like the very first infected people.
Yeah, they just kind of built armor of like mushroom plates, hardened mushroom plates. That's what it looks like, and fungus. Oh, that's what I'm trying to. That was the word I was trying to look for. Fungus, and you fight him off in this gym while trying to escape, and you kind of fight your way through a few houses to get to a big revealing point in the game where Bill meets up with his partner that he's been kind of talking about.
I thought was great.
Yeah, I wasn't quite expecting that. And it's like when he mentioned it back at the church while like getting your nail bombs and stuff like that, it's like his partner. I'm like, okay, this could mean either one of two things. And when we finally meet up with his partner who has taken his own life, and
the game becomes real.
Yeah.
Okay. Like that to me, like that was a moment where the game to me was like, these people are real.
Yeah. And and the following moments are pretty cool. It's like you give Bill the letter and you realize that they were more than friends. These two guys were more than friends.
Right.
And then they get the truck running, and Ellie and Joel are off again. And
that whole getting the truck running scene was great.
Yeah, I love that too. And then one of my favorite. This is what makes the game great. Is the little scene in the truck with Ellie and Joel after Bill and then part ways when they're looking at the dirty magazine.
Can I just say that Hank Williams tape just made that game like 30 times? Just that moment that made it just like, oh my god, like that's just great.
So, all right, well, basically Bill was gay, and Ellie stole a guy.
She stole a few comic books, and she stole a guy magazine. Like, why is all these pictures? Why are all these men nude in there? And Joel's like, you know what? Just let's not talk about it.
No,
he's like, just not talk about it. She goes, why are all the pages stuck together?
It's like, how can he walk around with that thing? And I thought that was a little girl talking like that. It's just too funny to me. It just like,
it really is, and like
not because it's dirty. It's just because like she shouldn't be saying that. And but what's funny is like the world they live in. It's like being frank and honest.
Like okay.
Go ahead.
No, I'm saying it's like it's okay.
Yeah.
Because it's like the world they live in. You're like you're not thinking about, oh, that's awful that she said that. You're thinking about, oh shit, that's funny.
But the thing is, Joel still has that part of the mind from 20 years earlier. Like that's like we probably shouldn't be talking about that. And he still has that dad aspect. You know what I mean? It's like birds and the bees kind of thing. And then that's
when you're starting to see the relationship between them kind of form.
Right, and they just throw out the window and it's like, so long, Bill, and or whatever, and, and they just start talking, and then we meet up. What? The ambush.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, the ambush.
Yeah, Pittsburgh, ambush in Pittsburgh. See, they were driving from Boston to Pittsburgh.
Lincoln,
I think.
Yeah, we're gonna say like West Coast,
Pittsburgh, something else
East Coast,
like that.
I meant East Coast. Yeah.
Yeah. So they were driving from Boston to Pittsburgh or whatnot, and you just the whole scenery and everything. It was just so awesome. I mean, and then my favorite thing about it is you see all the cars that were just left behind.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why. Every time I see that in any type of post-apocalyptic thing, anytime I see that, I'm just thinking, my God, the pandemonium that would have happened in those situations.
Yeah.
You know.
So we're still in what, summer, right?
Yeah, we're still in summer at this point. We're still within probably like 6 or 7 days of Joel meeting Ellie still.
Yeah.
I'm sure it took maybe a day to get there, but not even a day. Probably just like maybe 12 hours or so.
Well, we should say that each part of the game is broken up into seasons, and
it jumps forward a little bit here and there.
Yeah, so we're still in summer, and we're about to hit fall in a little bit.
Yeah, in a little bit.
Yeah, and so they meet up. They have to go through Pittsburgh, and that's where problems come across.
A great scene happens where.
No, hold on.
Ellie, what?
At this point in the game, we come to realize we've only had one kind of enemy, the infected.
Yeah. And you only have one kind of enemy, and it's this point you realize. I mean, you had the soldiers and stuff, but at this point in the game, you were introduced to something that is kind of never really touched on in a lot of mediums about post-apocalyptic life, because you're always worried about the enemy that was infected. Well, now you have to worry about the enemy that's could be your friend, or he's probably your enemy.
Yeah, the regular average meal human. Who's trying to survive, and that's probably even more dangerous than the infected.
And it really is, and it's proven in this game that is even more dangerous than what's out there.
Yeah, so they come across this guy kind of stumbling in the middle of the road, and he's like, "I'm hurt, I need your help," and Joel immediately knows what it is.
Exactly, and Ellie's like, "Hey, we gotta stop and help him," and I love what Joel says.
He's like, "He's not even hurt," and backs up and just kind of barrels right through, and
he barrels right through him, and he runs his ass over. Kind of gets out of the way still.
If it wasn't for that bus that hit him, they would have got out okay, I think.
They would have got out okay, but the bus hits him, and then what's great about the whole scene, though, is like the entire time you're fighting off them, the Hank Williams music is playing in the background.
Yeah.
I just thought that was great.
That's a very pretty cool moment.
I like the moment where Ellie is being grabbed is the first, like, grabbed by the human, like grabbed by one of the guys is the first moment I'm like, oh my God, I just realized she's a teenage girl. That's not good. Like, I'm just sitting there going, oh shit. Like, that's like, it's kind of like, oh wow, that's kind of like, borderline territory here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so they fight their way through Pittsburgh, and for some reason I'm drawing a blank on this part. I don't know why. Because these people just kind of like surviving basically. Oh, this is with the Humvee and stuff. We meet Sam and Henry, right?
Yes, you meet Sam and Henry with the Humvee because you're trying to.
Yeah.
The main point is in this town there is
a bridge that you have to get to.
Yeah, there's a bridge you have to get to in order to get out of the town. You know.
Yeah.
The entire time, of course, they're looking for fireflies. They're looking for any type of civilization the fireflies are in.
No,
because he's looking. He ends up going to his brothers, but they're looking for any type of civilization that the fireflies are in order for them to, give Ellie to them.
Right.
That's the whole point, and then hopefully find a cure or whatnot. And there's certain fireflies bases across the country, and obviously that's why we stopped at Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
However, during that stop, you realize that there's scavengers, and they formed a group or something, and they're pretty much ruling Pittsburgh, driving the streets around in a gigantic metal Humvee with a machine gun on the back,
with a dead body as a hood ornament.
Yeah, they got the gate surrounded and shut, so they're pretty secure from the infected.
Yeah.
But I mean, anybody that comes in that town, the idea is you're not coming out.
Yeah. This is when we meet up with a few new weapons, like we get Molotovs and smoke bombs, I think, right?
I think we got Molotovs before, did we not?
I'm not quite sure.
No, we got Molotovs before. No, you get a few new weapons.
No, yeah, we have Molotovs because you had to kill the bloater with them.
Yeah. You get a few new weapons, I think. You get a smoke bomb, I think.
Yeah, and then we have the shorty shotgun. No, that's later. We have a shotgun at this point, and we have the hunting rifle. So we have a few decent weapons at this point. Anyways, yeah. But
I had a shotgun, a rifle, and a 4-wheel drive.
So we're fighting through this town of Pittsburgh, city of Pittsburgh, to get to this bridge to leave, and then we end up meeting two new characters.
Yep. Sam and Henry.
Yeah. Henry is the brothers. Henry's the oldest, and Sam.
Remind me exactly of Sam and Walt from Lost. I'm sorry, but that's the entire time I just want Henry to go, Walt.
Walt! I haven't watched Lost. I haven't seen Lost. Not because that I didn't want to.
Before you don't tell me.
The ending was spoiled for me, so I'm like, I don't even need to watch it now.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyways, we meet with Sam and Henry, or Henry and Sam. Henry's being the oldest brother, and Sam being the youngest. And then you have to fight. And they don't really fight their way. They just kind of sneak their way to their little hidden base and for nighttime, because they realize that the gate leading to the bridge is bare bones at night, and so they try to sneak across, and they do. But this is where I would shoot Henry on sight next time I would have seen him, because they end up leaving Joel behind because the ladder broke, and it's like, we're out of here. And
yeah, but it's the first. It's a moment in time where yes, you're so pissed off at Henry, but Ellie jumps back down there to be with you.
Yeah, like yes, and
you're just like, wow, she and to me, Joel had to have taken that as okay, this little girl wants to help me.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do what I can to help her.
But
you don't touch this little girl. You don't even look at this little girl.
I think they wouldn't have survived if it wasn't for Ellie coming up. When they finally made it to the bridge. Because Joel was wanting to stay and fight, and Ellie's like, she can't swim, so she jumps off the bridge into the water, and Joel is forced
to fall after her.
Yeah,
the girl is smart.
Yeah,
she's like I said, street smarts beyond belief, and she knows, she knows and she understands.
Yeah,
and I agree with you so much on that part right there, that she believes that's the only way that they're going to survive, and that's why they did survive.
Yeah, and at this point, they're trying to get to a radio station, right? Yeah,
they're trying to get a radio station, but let's.
No, that was the mission.
Let's make the point though that they are pulled out of the water by Sam and Henry.
Yeah,
and Joel's reaction, I've never agreed more with how he reacted, because that's exactly how I felt. I was like, Joel, you better shoot him in the face.
Yeah.
Shoot him in the face. Like, just give me that R1 choice right there. I'll do it. Just like, let me do this.
So they team back up again. They kind of scavenge the shoreline for supplies and stuff like that. Which we come across some more notes. Which this is my favorite notes. Ish, like the Ish character notes. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I've not read them myself because when I was down there, I was more focused on getting out of there. It was a creepy. It was a really good creepy atmosphere.
Yeah, because we're diving into the sewers, and but there's this notes. There's these notes left by this.
What I understood, he crashed his ship into there, right?
No, he ran out of supplies.
Oh yeah, okay.
And he had to finally come to shore, and then basically it was him setting up a new town underground.
Yeah.
And which didn't quite work out.
Not at all.
Not at all. So they have to go into the sewers to pretty much, in order to get up, they have to go down and up, basically. And
yeah.
And so they make it out There
was some close calls. There were some definite close calls there. I mean, especially at the very end.
That's what I hated. I hated teaming up with Sam. I hated teaming up that little kid because he didn't help at all.
He didn't. Like, it made you go, "Oh, I miss Ellie so bad."
Yeah, it made you want Ellie. That's
it just made you like, "Oh, Ellie, can you come back, please?"
Because that scene when you accidentally trip the door and the dividing door, and you have to fight all those infected off, and it was like, dear, I just wanted to shoot the kid, and it's like, hey, you got ran over.
Yeah, and the other thing is like, whenever you do reunite with him, Henry doesn't help you at all, really.
Yeah. Except for that one scene he crawls through the gate. Other than that, it was just kind of like... Ugh.
Yeah, that's really about it.
Yeah. Henry is pretty much useless. I mean, not Henry, but...
They both are. Henry and Sam.
Yeah. But Henry is less of the two evils there, and...
Yeah, I mean, at least he has a gun.
Yeah. Anyways, so they make it out, which I love when they finally make it out. Written on the other side is... Do not enter, infected inside, and it's like, it's like, wish we would.
Yeah, it's just funny, you know, like, it really is.
It's like, why couldn't you write that on the other side? And it's like, oh, that's funny. But the underground sewer was really cool because it was set up like a town. They had the classroom and laundry room and rain catchers and everything. And I don't know if you went into that one room where you met Kyle. You found Kyle's note.
Yeah, that's the note I was telling you about. About the dog? Are you talking about that?
No, not with the dog. I'm talking about where this Kyle and a bunch of kids were trapped in that one supply room, and
oh no, I didn't read that.
Oh, you didn't read that one?
No, I didn't read that one.
Well, Kyle, there's this unknown survivor, and a bunch of kids got trapped in this one room by a bunch of infected, and they were running low on food and supplies and whatnot, and hope. There was no hope, so he's like, and the final words was, "I'll make it quick," and so and there's just a few dead kids kind of covered up with a blanket. And it was like he had to do what was necessary to make him not suffer, and it was like, it's like, man, that was pretty rough. But anyways, they make it out and make it to the radio station, and that's where another big moment.
Well, on the moment before that or whatnot, like you talk about that note, there's a note that I found that before you're going there, when you hear the dogs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? When you hear the dogs, you go upstairs and there's a note up there, and it's this little boy, you know, that's during the midst of all this chaos that's happening with the infect and everything, his dad takes the family dog and takes it out to the woods and leaves it, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, and you're just like that's just so sad, because like this small boy's world is just it's changed.
Yeah.
And you get taken away, and it's just like the madness of everything, and then you just slowly, just like the emptiness of these houses is what amazes me.
It's pretty much just like it's ransacked by.
It's ransacked by people and everything, and then you can just. I love the fact that you can tell that like They were in the middle of leaving, and they dropped all their shit in a hurry.
Yeah, and I also liked that scene in the same area with the dogs with the ice cream truck. And it's like because Sam and Ellie have no idea what the world before all this was, and that's the only thing they knew is this world. And it's like they were so dumbfounded by the fact that there was this truck that drove around with music, selling ice cream and to kids, and that makes it. I mean, these kids are missing out on so much, and
they never experienced the things that
Yeah. And it's like that scene in the record store. It's like all this great music they'll never get listened to. It's like,
yeah.
Well, anyways, and so
well, before that, there's the scene where you control the big ass sniper rifle. Okay,
that was fun.
That was fun. Like that's the first time that's like I've got unlimited ammo and all I got to do is aim for these fuckers. Like it's like I was.
It's a bolt action, so each time you miss, you gotta like, oh crap.
Yeah. You're so like that was like really frantic. I mean, given the fact you had unlimited ammo, I mean, you kind of had to. But I mean, it was like, oh wow, it was really really awesome. I mean, you could say that like unlimited ammo was possible. I know that scene though was kind of tough because the guy kept shooting me.
Yeah.
Like he would find me and he would just be like, I got you, fucker. And he would just fire.
Yeah, see, that kind of stuff doesn't bother me. I mean, I've read some complaints that how can the AI have unlimited ammo while you can't. I mean, that stuff doesn't bother me whatsoever.
No, not really. It doesn't bother me. I mean, and to be honest, I mean, they still have to unload and reload.
Yeah.
So I mean, you just take the time on the reload and you just do it.
But during this scene, something happens, and I don't know if you can. I think you can catch it with your sniper rifle that Sam ends up getting
bit. And it's kind of sad how it's. I don't know about you, but I anticipated it like so much. Either that or the two that just go on their separate ways. I didn't think. I really didn't think with as much time as you spent with them, they were going to kill him off.
I figured they were just going to go the separate ways after the radio station.
Yeah,
because the radio station is fully stocked basically, and
it was, and he had a lot of canned goods in there and everything like that, and it looked like they had achieved their goal or whatnot. Yeah. And then Sam and Ellie have this little. It's really a sad moment together because
even though she tried to make it happy, but it wouldn't happen.
It wasn't going to end happy. It wasn't going to happen. Like Ellie, has found somebody her age that she feels like maybe she can have a connection with.
Yeah.
Or close to her age or whatnot, and like to give him the toy, like that would like to backtrack. There's a toy at the beginning when you meet Sam and Henry that Sam is trying to get, or Sam is trying to put in his bag, and Henry slams on the ground and says, we only have what we carry, and what we need is supplies. We don't have time for toys.
Yeah.
But Ellie picks up the toy, and at this point in time, she gives Sam a toy, and he has no really reaction about it because he understands now what is going to happen to him, and Ellie doesn't understand quite yet either.
It looks like a Gundam toy to me.
Yeah. It does look like a Gundam.
Yeah. Well, and then so the next morning, Ellie wakes up to the smell of food, and it's like go get Sam, and Sam's there twitching like, oh no, he's infected, he's a runner, and then Joel's like, oh, I'm ending this because it attacks Ellie, and Henry's not going to allow it. And
you think he's going to shoot Joel, and then he ends up shooting Henry.
Yeah, then
Sam.
Then Henry blames Joel for what happened to Sam, and then he ends up taking his own life, and that ends summer.
Yep. And now we're on the fall, which, I mean, the whole summer thing, I was like, wow.
Summer is a big chunk of the game.
Summer is a big chunk of the game, and it was an important chunk. It was a good chunk, and I was like, okay, holy shit. At the end of it, I was like, damn. Then it picks up probably like what, maybe a month later.
I'd probably say close to that because they still got to get to their destination. So I say between at least between 2 and a month.
Month or two, yeah. I would say like not like a whole lot of time's passed, but enough time for them to acquire jackets.
Yeah, and the weather change.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
This is going to be a recurring problem. I'm going to say, why in the hell if they're together so damn much and she can't do it, why did Joel not teach her how to swim?
Because swimming is just takes too much time.
I'll go with that, but that's like the one
But
complaint I have.
with the planks and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, like at first I'm like, oh hey, the plank thing is a cool idea. Then after the third or fourth one, I'm like, you know what? Just bitch swim.
Throw
Damn
her
it.
in the water and she'll figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. Just let her float in there for a little bit and she'll get it done.
All right, so
Yeah, continue.
So it's fall, it's raining, and we come across this hydroelectric power plant, which is owned and run by Tommy and his wife. Who Tommy is Joel's brother, who they've been looking for because he used to be a Firefly. And so they meet up, and Joel finally reveals to the first person that Ellie is immune, and he needs to take Ellie off his hands, and they end up getting what's it called?
Ransacked. Ransacked, pillaged, plundered by nearby raiders. This plant's a nice plant, and you're like, oh wow, electricity. Oh, I've never thought about electricity.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, it's like this is the one place that could hold up for years and years and years and years.
Yeah, I mean they've got the supplies and everything.
As long as the water holds out.
And I don't know about you, but I'm thinking the entire time, like Tommy and his wife, they're dead. I don't know what's going to happen, but they're going to die.
I didn't see it that way. I mean, the thing is, when I came across, I'm like, I really do not want to go through this place full of clickers. That's what I was thinking.
That's when I first came across it too. I was like, this place is going to suck.
Yeah, but then ultimately it was okay. But this part, fall was actually it was pretty good too, because after Ellie finally runs away because Joel is like, I don't want you anymore. Tommy's the better choice at this point, and Ellie's like, no, and
yeah, because Joel's thing is he doesn't want to get attached to her.
Yeah,
because he's already, in case we didn't inform everybody, he lost his daughter at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, we forgot
she was
to
shot
do
and
that part.
killed. She was shot and killed by military operative. Yeah. Okay, because it was a sad moment. It was like a really sad moment.
Yeah,
it really was. And just him sitting there, baby girl, please, just
bleeding out in his arms.
And you're just like, man, and that's why you sympathize with Joel the entire game, because you're like, this man has gone through so much.
And what we haven't seen during that 20-year gap, it's like he grayed a lot.
He did. He grayed a lot.
Like gray hair and gray beard. That's what I meant by that.
Yeah, I mean, he did.
And anyways, Ellie runs off on horseback, which the horseback scenes were actually pretty cool.
They were.
But I like the horseback scenes better in Uncharted 2. I mean Uncharted 3. I like that.
I think it's because it's scenery that you get in Uncharted 3 that they're a little bit better, and they're a little bit more faster paced. These ones kind of felt like, I really don't see why I need a horse here.
Yeah, it felt like I could walk it or run it faster.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the same flavor. Like I mean, you go get Ellie, and then you go get Ellie. They have a falling out between that, and she pretty much runs off again. Or not? She doesn't really run off again. She just pissed at you now.
Yeah.
Okay, and then finally at the end of your little journey with Tommy tells you, okay, this is where I'm going to take her. Joel, this is where we part ways. And Joel finally changes his mind, and he's like, here, Tommy, take this horse back there. Ellie, get on mine. And she doesn't even say a thing. She doesn't say a thing to him, but you can tell that she is so damn happy.
She's relieved.
Yeah, she is relieved, and she's so damn happy. Because I mean, it just makes sense that way.
Yeah, and this is where we come across my favorite part of the game. I liked the university stuff. That I enjoyed that so much.
That went from like freaky to panic to fast paced to
like,
just, oh my god, what's gonna happen?
So it's like, all right, so
Tommy, a lot happened in that 20 minutes.
All right, Tommy informed Joel and Ellie that there's a Firefly base in Colorado that is the science center of everything. And so they
Yeah,
go on horseback.
Firefly bases, I mean, that's where they're going to.
Yeah, so they go on horseback, and then they get there, it's completely deserted. And which
It's like sorry, Mario, your princess is another cat.
Exactly, it's one of them moments. And so, I mean, for the first couple parts of this university, you don't run into really anything. You just see like, where's everyone at? Then you start running into like little recorders and monkeys and stuff like that. I gotta point this out. There's this recorder that you pick up about this guy getting infected by monkeys. Got bit by the monkey and kills himself. Do you think he would have been infected?
I don't think so, because the monkeys you meet were infected.
Yeah, they just.
And there was infected a lot. There was a lot of infected in that place.
Yeah, so I don't really think he was.
I just think he went nuts.
I think he was just like, I don't want to be. I think he was just being like.
Yeah, it was just kind of like unsure. So it was just kind of like, oh,
I'm doing it anyways. I'm going out on my terms, not. Anyways, they go through and they find some X-rays, and the X-rays reveal that this fungus virus takes over the brain and kind of mutates into making them very aggressive and very contagious and everything, and reveals that they've gone to another castle, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and when
can I say that during this point in time, this probably was, I thought, maybe the most panic-inducing of the infected meeting, when you have to drop down in that dark place. All you can do is rely on your sound.
Oh yeah, I forgot we got this. We get the flamethrower in this part.
Oh yes, we do, and oh my god, do I love it! Like, this is the first game with the flamethrower. I love it.
Oh, the fire elements are the best.
They are, like, it's the first game that got fire right. It's like, oh, fire kills.
Yeah.
It doesn't just sit there and stun you for a second.
Yeah.
It kills. It will do its job.
Yeah. Oh, I know what you're talking about. It's the second generator, right? We have to drop down in the hole with a bloater.
Yeah, you have to drop down the hole. You have to drop down in the hole.
Yeah.
And it's with the second generator, and you think it's just a bloater down there, but it's not just a bloater. It's a bloater as well as, like, 5 or 6 clickers.
Yeah, it's a mess down there.
It is like, oh my god, I can't see. Holy shit! So I'm sitting there, I'm navigating past them.
Oh, we should mention that there's these things called spores that kind of like those little white the things that become dandelions, kind of.
Yeah, and it's not. It's toxic, is what it is.
It'll infect you instantly if you breathe in any. And
yeah, I mean, not like it won't affect you instantly, but it will. It's not good. Don't do it.
We didn't get to see any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's bad for you. And so he puts on a gas mask and goes down, and we come across just a room full of this crap, and you have to fight him off. I tried sneaking through. I wasn't very successful, so I'm like, you know what? I have 3 nail bombs, 3 Molotovs. I'm going. And so I killed the bloater off pretty quickly. Bloaters weren't really a problem with me. They were just like, I didn't want to get hit by that little spore crap he spits out at you. That's more annoying than anything. And so, when we make it out and we get the generator, and also in this scene is where we start reading diary entries, from students and stuff like that. Like, that's what makes this part pretty cool too.
Yeah.
And we make it out.
How did you tackle it exactly? Like, you just tackle it with your arsenal of everything?
In the little dark room area.
Yeah.
Oh, I went heads first. I went guns blazing. I really.
Okay, I did the exact opposite of what you did. Okay. Which makes it kind of funny, because how I started it off was I went to the room to the left.
Okay.
And I shivved the next 2 clickers. And the next 2 clickers that I had,
yeah,
I shivved them. And one, I walked by. I didn't even know he was behind me. I just like gently scooted by, and he was like in there. He looked directly at me, and he didn't sense me because I didn't send off any movements or sound.
I know.
That to me was like, that is movie-esque moment right there. That just reminds me of Velociraptor or something, just staring at you and not really seeing you.
No, it reminds me of Aliens, because because
Yeah, I know. They make that sound or whatever, and they get close to your face.
It's like, oh.
And those things are freaky because they are one-hit kills. That's what makes them great.
Unless you've upgraded, but they're basically with the bloaters, they're one-hit kills too.
Yeah.
But anyways, I went guns blazing. And I just kind of like timed it very well because I went the way the room is set up. You got these 2 doorways. I went to the farthest one back, and just I killed that one, which attracted everyone, all of them, to that general area. Molotoved them, nail bombed them, killed them all, and just went on my way. That's how I did it. And so, the story continues. We get the generator going, open the gate to go into the next area.
Can I make it like? How funny is it after you've killed everybody for that scene of when you're trying to open that door in a frantic pace? Like, you know what I'm talking about, where you have to get the door open and you're just like, oh wow, like this would be hilarious if I had enemies chasing me, but I don't.
Oh, with the crap banging on the...
Yeah, with the crap banging on the door, because you gotta like all that sound. You're like, oh, I'm not worried now. Yeah. But then again, I was like, oh shit.
I was waiting for one to pop out of the door.
I was waiting for one to pop out somewhere and then just like eat my face or something. I was like, no, come on, I just did all that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So, anyways, generator, gate open. We're still on horseback, so we're riding through the university commons area and courtyard, all on horseback. And we finally made it.
Which is clearly what I did when I went to college. Like, I don't know about you,
yeah.
But when I went to college campus, I rode on horseback.
Yeah. And so we finally go to the building, which is how they describe it. It looks like a giant mirror.
Which it does. It does.
Yeah, so and this is where the game kind of takes a nice little turn as well. Make it all the way to the top, realize that they're all moved to another castle, and then raiders come through, and it's like, oh, hey, let's get what they have, and they fight their way out, and this is when Joel gets wounded. You think, okay, you're doing fine at this point in time. Yeah, very well.
And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it's an element you can control. It's cinematic in the game. Joel gets in a fight with one of the other raiders real quick, and they both get thrown from the top of the balcony. And Joel, happenstance, lands on a big-ass spike.
It's a piece of rebar.
Yeah, and he lands on it and, like...
impales him to the side.
It impales him. Yeah. It impales him. I'm going, are they going to do this? Are they going to kill him off? You know? And then you have to do this scene where you have to, like... you're struggling, like you're bleeding all over the place.
Yeah, heavily mounted bleeding.
It made me feel so frantic, like, oh my god, like, you know, I mean, and you're so helpless. And Ellie is there; she's doing everything she can to help you, you know. And it made me feel so sad for her. Ellie, like, she could lose Joel.
Yeah, the part in that whole scene of trying to get Joel out of the building is when Ellie takes a pipe to the face. You know, it's like a steel pipe to the face.
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh no! I'm like,
yeah,
and I was like, I'm in no condition to help her, and she just got beamed right in the face with a lead pipe, wrestling style, basically, and and then she just pops 2 rounds into the stomach, and he's dead, and it's like, oh,
yeah, and you're just
and
like,
she still gets up and still manages to get out of the building. She's tough. I mean,
she is a very tough little girl.
Yeah,
like very tough.
And so we finally got out of the building, and then that's where Fall ends. Fall's
the smallest chunk of the game, I think.
No, I think Winter's the smallest.
I don't know. I think Fall's a little bit smaller to me. Fall went a lot faster. Winter lasted a while.
Maybe that's why they kind of like Fall seemed like it went fast, but Winter's shorter.
Well, Fall was more action paced. Winter was more story developing.
Yeah. This is where I've read quite a bit of the what's it called? I'm trying to think, or more of the topic of discussions of what's about to come up. So we're in a new season. It's winter.
We're in winter, and we're at this point in time. You don't know if Joel's alive or dead,
right? And
because you are now Ellie.
Yeah, we're playing as Ellie, hunting,
and you're hunting a deer. And I gotta tell you, in no game have I ever found more joy than hunting a deer.
or that, but let's just backtrack for a minute. When we first realize it's winter, and that poor
little bunny.
He just gets murdered right before your eyes. Like, oh wow, it's like this is what's going to happen, and we're playing, and reveals that we're playing as Ellie, and we got to go track down a deer for eat. Then then she finally tracks it down. It's dead, and that's when we meet David and James, right? I think that's
David and his little helper.
Yeah, and then
but this scene shows you how much Ellie has learned from Joel, though.
Yeah.
Like she's learned so much from him, and you also learn like she kills a deer. You spend about a good 5-10 minutes hunting this deer, and this deer will hear you.
Yeah, it will hear
he will hear you. And he will. You will not sneak up on him. His ass will hear you, and but he's dead, and he finally bleeds out. Yeah. And then you're getting ready to pick up, and this is when you do meet David and his little
which
companion.
Is kind of a godsend in its own right, because he kind of goes and gets penicillin for Joel.
And then that's when you're okay. Joel's still alive. He's just very sick. She just needs medicine for him. So she's going to trade the deer for medicine.
And then while waiting on the dude to come back with medicine, clickers and runners show up, and they have this little scene fighting through this. Like, I don't even know what it is.
It's kind of like it's an abandoned village. And it just kind of looks like some type of factory or something, like some warehouse, or I don't know.
It looks like a grain mill or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I mean, it looks like something that it's not. I don't know, like you said, maybe a grain mill, maybe a factory or a small factory or something.
Yeah,
something.
And then David and Ellie kind of have to fight off a lot of the infected, and he's kind of earned. I don't know if it earns his trust.
He didn't earn the complete trust.
Yeah.
But the entire time, like, you're thinking, if this guy really wanted me dead, he could just shoot me now.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he could just shoot me now when my back is turned and just be done with it.
And he could get away.
And that's
clean.
when you're thinking, okay, it's all right, Yeah.
And so Joel and then Ellie makes it back to them. We see Joel. He's been stitched up, and he's pretty bad shape. He's better shape than when he was, but he's still in pretty bad shape. And
no, before that, a line is dropped by wasn't it? When was this line dropped?
Okay, tell me.
The line of David that when he alludes to, he goes, there was a guy that wiped out a lot of my people.
It's when James, before his little buddy got back
with the medicine. He's
right.
Like, there was a
because they were huddled around the fire.
Guy, who was with a little girl.
This crazy man with a little.
This crazy man who was with a little girl, and Ellie that's when she goes, okay, I know where this is going. I'm taking this medicine. Bye. Yeah. And she and David just lets her go.
Yeah. And okay, it's like, I mean, if you were in David's position, I mean, despite what's going to happen if he was just a normal person, we'll kind of get back into what he is and what he isn't, and coming up, and if he was just a run-of-the-mill survivor, and these guys Ellie and Joel came in killing people, that'd be kind of concerning to me as well. But anyways, there's some more revelations coming up about David.
A lot of them.
Yeah. So Ellie makes it back to Joel, and which Ellie still has a lot to learn, despite knowing a lot. She forgot to cover her tracks.
Yeah, and that's they follow her there. Back
to like this little. They live out in the middle of nowhere, basically, but it's like a little town on the shore, and it's actually if it was unaffected, I think it'd be a pretty cool area to visit. But
yeah, it looks pretty.
I mean, it's all cabin. I think it's quite a bit of.
I think it's isn't it Salt Lake City?
No, they're not there yet. No, because Salt Lake City is spring.
It's got to be somewhere in Colorado.
Yeah, I think it is Colorado, and so they're still there because Joel probably wouldn't be able to make it that far, and so somewhere in Colorado, and
he looks looks about dead.
yeah, he could, if he didn't get that medicine, he probably would have died, and so Joel is unconscious, sleeping in, and Ellie's like, oh, she better get out and save Joel from being killed while he's asleep, and kind of takes off on horseback, and she ends up
because she's trying to lead them away.
Yeah, lead him away from Joel. She ends up getting shot. Not her, the horse ends up getting shot.
That damn horse. Yeah, that horse was mutilated and dead. Like, oh my god, wow. They shot it in the perfect spot where he was jumping.
Yeah, and so Ellie fell, but to pure luck, she able to get out and move.
Pure luck and bad aim.
Yeah. So she kind of got away, and
let me just say, how odd is it to play as a 14-year-old killer girl?
I had fun playing as Ellie.
She was faster. Like, she was noticeably faster. Yeah. She was noticeably weaker as well, though.
Yeah, and when we finally make it to the main compound. And so she fights her way through, and at the last second, she ends up getting captured.
Yeah.
Right before she's free, she gets captured, and she wakes up in this cage. And this is where the debate starts.
The real meat and potatoes
of David and his gang.
Of David and his gang of people. Now, the first thing you see, because it's the question that you kind of ask yourself at the beginning of the game, is like, okay, how far did these people go? How far did people go? And then you see how far they've gone.
Yeah. Okay.
Body parts are laying around and they're being chopped up.
Yeah. They're cannibals.
They are cannibals.
They're cannibals. That is
apparent.
Apparent, yes. That is very apparent because of all the meat and all the meat strung about dead bodies hung up like cattle and stuff like that. Yeah. But I didn't pick up on this the first time around. I don't know why. Maybe I was just too more into trying to get out alive. That kind of aspect. But apparently, David was trying to keep Ellie as a pet. I mean, I caught that part, but I didn't quite pick up on the fact of what being a pet would entail. That's what I was trying to. This is where our little debate will come up. Was David going to rape Ellie?
I think he was. I honestly think that's what to me, that's what his plans were.
As in the double entendre for being pet. Is that what you're trying
as in she was going to be his sex slave.
Okay.
Completely, and that's what she was going to do. And eventually, he's probably going to eat her.
Because this game is pretty much a pretty
male-dominated world, and you don't really see women,
except for Tess and Marlena and stuff like that, or however you pronounce her name.
Yeah.
But for some reason I did not pick up on that when it first came out.
I picked up on it when he cause there has to be a reason why he's trying to protect her. I mean, in a way.
Yeah, it's
it's not that I don't think he has a heart. I just think he's worse than they are. You know who David was voiced by?
Who?
Nolan North.
I figured as much. Okay. Well, I didn't pick on when I played it through second time around with New Game Plus. I'm like, okay, I see where they're kind of drawing their
conclusion.
Yeah, and it's okay. But when the pet finally gets out of hand, there's only one way to do it: put it down, and that's when she's like, I'm infected.
Yeah,
before that,
what makes that interesting though is that she is infected.
Yeah, and she bites.
In a certain stance, she is infected.
Yeah,
and she bites him. Now, this is something that was available for debate as well.
Yeah.
Does that mean they're infected now?
I don't think they are.
I don't think so either because she's immune to it. But to me, that's like a really interesting possibility. I don't think even she knows the answer
I
to
don't.
that particular question.
Well, the thing is, it's like it's a new concept, so it's like someone immune. It's like, well, if they get bit or scratched, does the virus transfer over, or does it just do nothing?
Is it dead completely?
Yeah, but
And that's
but David doesn't live long enough to find out, and well, which also makes it seem pretty good is because between Ellie being knocked out, you go back to playing Joel.
He's weak.
Yeah, and he has to track down Ellie because she has no idea where Ellie. He has no idea where Ellie went, and which leads to probably a great scene, the torture scene between Joel and two of the hunters.
Oh, it reminded me too much of Taken in a way.
Oh,
It really did because of how it was presented and everything like that. But I will say that he was better in that scene than Liam Neeson was in Taken.
oh, because he's like,
he
gotcha. Go ahead.
like just in the way that he goes, oh, I know your friend was lying.
No, he
And he popped his kneecap off.
He didn't. He wasn't lying. He knew. He's like, I believe your friend, and then he just beat the other guy to death. And it's like,
Which I was like, yes. I was like this is the point in time where like Joel is not a nice man, but he does what he needs to do.
survive.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
like you're just, I mean, you can't blame the man.
Yeah. So,
I mean,
we finally get back to Ellie, and she confronts David in this restaurant, which is burning down around him, and they fight, and then we go back to Joel, and he's fighting his way through town, and through the snowy, this whiteout. That's what's going on. It has a whiteout, and the only way you can see is through church bells and flames, and so they finally meet up, and Ellie does like her most brutal death scene of the whole movie. I mean, game.
yeah, you think it's a
Yeah, it feels like a movie. It really does. And she just hacks David's face with a machete, and it was just like, oh, that's brutal. But okay, I also read what was going to happen with him being on top of her. I know this is kind of very graphic, but
I honestly, he was trying to rape her. Like that to me is my thought because of how she reacted to the situation so emotionally.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, he was trying to kill her or whatnot, but it was because she felt so vulnerable.
yeah,
And to point out later how long it took her to get over it.
oh,
Because it was so traumatic for her.
Yeah.
Because that was a situation where she felt like a woman.
yeah.
And it was something that, and then just the brutal death of David was just immense.
Being hacked. I mean, all right, well, during the fight, David has a machete and it gets knocked out of his hands because they both knock each other out, and that's when you go back to playing Joel. And when you wake up with Ellie's laying on the floor and she's crawling towards the machete, and then David comes out of nowhere, kicks her, and David gets on top of her, and then
You're like, oh my God, Joel, just make it in time, just make it in time, just make it in time.
yeah, and
then
how does she get off of him?
I think she kicks him in the balls or something like that.
No,
and
does he? I thought she has a little switchblade that helps out.
Oh, she does something. I think she stabs her or whatnot, but she just
she gets free.
It's so overpowering. All I do is remember her grabbing the machete and just making.
No, he bites her again.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
Bites her again. I don't know. Whatever. She gets free, gets the machete, and just swinging for the fences on his face with the machete, and
The blood's coming out, and it's just.
and that's when Joel finally shows up and it's like, it's
And
okay.
he pulls her off of her, and when Joel pulls her off of her, he's like, doesn't he like, it's gonna be okay, baby girl.
Yeah,
it's gonna be okay.
It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be. And it's like the most comforting moment in this whole game.
It really is. It's like because this moment right here was like okay, thank you finally. Like, oh my God, wow.
Joel, thank you for being there.
Yeah, exactly.
Then that's where Winter ends.
Yep, and that's why I say winter was long. It really was. was, but there was just a lot to do, and there was just a
It was
lot of
emotionally
storytelling.
long. How about that?
Huh?
It was emotionally long.
It was, to me. It was the most. It was the most emotional out of the whole thing, almost.
Yeah.
Like there was just so much there. I was just
Well,
like,
there's a few
wow.
emotional scenes coming up, and which
Yeah, that kind of eclipsed those because of storytelling factor. But I think just alone a derivative. I think if these were separate episodes, I think that episode would be the episode that hooked everybody.
yeah, gotcha. It's like they played it before all this. Like, what's going on? We got to find out what happens before and after this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's
Yeah.
just. But so now we're on to
Spring.
spring.
Yeah.
Yes, we are
The
spring
last-
now.
the
This is all. They're almost together a year now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Last act of the game, and they finally they're in Salt Lake City, Utah. I think that's where it's at.
And this is supposed to be where the Firefly headquarters is.
The main headquarters, like
Yep.
science, everything, and so
Mormon.
yeah, so Joel and Ellie kind of have to travel through town, meeting up with your clickers, your bloaters, your runners, stalkers.
Well, it's not before we even get to there. We gotta pinpoint this moment because Ellie
Oh,
at
yeah, I
this
forgot about
point,
that part.
yeah, but Ellie at this point, she's kind of almost like she's so out of it because of the issues that happen with David. Like you can tell just how
She's very-
emotionally out of it she is.
She's like a zombie, kind of walking around.
And I gotta tell you, the moment in the game where I almost forgot it was a game, where I go over there to pick up the ladder or to boost her up, and she just sitting there. She goes, oh. It's like, oh, okay. After the 50th time I've done this in the game, I take for granted this moment.
Yeah, she's like, just like, oh, okay. It's
She's like, oh, I'm sorry.
I've done this enough.
And then all of a sudden, and to me, this moment was magical. It really was. Like it was so beautiful in the game. Like all of a sudden she gets excited, and she starts running ahead of you, and you're just, it's like, oh my god, hey, slow down. What do you see? What do you see? What do you see?
You about to get hit with a ladder. And
Yeah, you about to get hit with a ladder and everything like that, and all of a sudden you see her up there, and she's with a giraffe, and it sneezes on her.
No, it don't.
Well, still,
It's not.
I imagine it did.
It's a very Jurassic Park moment. It's because like out of all this chaos, there is something like humble about petting a giraffe, and that's when she kind of kicks out of her funk, and she's back to being kind of Ellie-esque, and it's like, and then they fire. And then they continue.
So Jurassic Parky, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I said.
So Jurassic Parky. I know. Still.
Yeah. Anyways, they fight their way through, meet up with a couple more bloaters, clickers, just odds. I mean, you're just.
This is the big moment with blowers and clickers. I mean, you're going to be close to out of ammo.
Yeah. No, actually, I had plenty of ammo.
I didn't.
I was very conservative during that game.
I mean, I wasted because I didn't know this was going to be kind of the last section with infect.
Yeah.
Okay, I really didn't understand that was going to happen. I wasn't.
That flamethrower
quite
came in
prepared.
handy to me, and so
That flamethrower did. What came in handy for me was finding that side room after I got rid of the clicker in the water or whatnot.
Oh.
Was finding that side room full of all that crap,
oh yeah,
and then just taking everything from the side, and I just threw like Molotov, killed the bloaters and flamethrowed everybody on. Like it took me like 4 or 5 tries to beat that part.
oh, I got it.
Yeah.
I got it one try.
Yeah,
I mean,
it took me 4 or 5 tries to beat it one part.
The hard part, the parts that seemed the hardest, I went through easily, and the parts that seemed the easiest is what I struggled with. But
Yeah, I mean, like I only died maybe about 11 or 10 times in the game,
I died pretty low too,
and I never died by any of the humans. I always died by the infected.
Yeah, because usually the clickers that what got me.
Yeah, it was always with one hit kills or whatnot,
Yeah.
and it wasn't like I don't even count one hit kills as like total deaths. They're like bullshit.
Anyways, getting through all that, and then we have this little scene where they have to travel over raging waters, and the bus that they have to travel on becomes dislodged, and Ellie jumps on the bus knowing that she can't swim, tries to help Joel get free. The bus topsides and sending Ellie off, knocking her out. And Joel has to get out and save her, and while trying to do chest compressions to bring her back to consciousness. That's when fireflies come out of nowhere and force Joel to stop. And that's when we meet with Joel. I think he gets knocked out by a gun, don't he? He
gets knocked out by the butt of a gun because he was trying to revive her.
Yeah,
you know. And at this point, I'm pissed off. I'm like, I'm going to revive her and then knock me out.
Yeah.
Okay, just fucking do it. And then you wake up in the hospital, and Marlene, who at the beginning of the game was the firefly that
who
told
was
you,
near
hey,
death, by the way, and who got shot. Marlene was near death at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
And so then there's this is probably the biggest bombshell of the game, that in order to create a vaccine, there's no way of keeping the host alive in order to remove what is needed for a vaccine. So that means Ellie would have to die to create a vaccine.
That they don't even know is going to work.
Yeah.
Let's remind everybody, this isn't a vaccine, or this is a vaccine. This isn't a cure. This isn't going to revert everybody who was one back to. This is going to prevent this from happening to anybody else.
And
maybe.
Yeah, it's a giant if.
And here's the other thing: how are you going to mass produce it?
Yeah, and because Firefly isn't quite on military's honor,
and the military isn't quite even the military. How would they mass produce it?
Yeah,
I'm
sure the military has some way.
They probably could, but I'm just saying it would take years for it to actually be in effect
without killing Ellie.
Exactly.
Okay,
and
and Marlene reveals that Ellie would have to die, and for some reason, this is where Joel becomes a hero and the villain at the exact same time, I think. And he kills the guard who's escorting him out of the building, and he's like, I'm getting Ellie. And this is a fun part too, because you gotta fight through your way to the hospital to the operating room to save Ellie. And so
I gotta tell you, I was so damn proud to shoot that guy who was shooting me. Or to shoot that guy that was sitting there telling me, I said move. I'm like, just turn right behind and smack his ass and beat his ass, please.
Yeah.
They did a good job of making me hate people in that game.
Oh yes, they did. And we finally, this was fun part, because you gotta kill the people who deserve to die. And we don't know if they I think they deserve to die, because they were going to kill a little girl for something that didn't know it was going to work or not. What to me
this did was, this showed me that this was totally not Star Trek-y, when the needs of the many outweighed the needs of the few in the one. Okay, this right here was, look, motherfuckers, you took my little girl from me, okay? You're not taking this one. I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure that she survives.
Grows up to be
whoever she wants to be, not who you want her to be.
Exactly.
And then just, to me, it was just Joel is doing everything he can, his damnedest, to get her. You got to fight through armed guards. It's the hardest part in the game, I think, personally, yes, because you're so low on ammo.
No, once again, I had everything maxed out. I mean, crafted. I had 3 health packs, 3 smoke bombs, 3 nail bombs. I had 3 shivs.
And some parts to a Mustang GT. Okay,
yeah,
it's great.
Exactly. I was loaded out, so I was going into. Yeah.
I did not have any ammunition whatsoever, so you can imagine how much of a hell of a time I had with it.
And I was the one, and our gameplay significantly was different. You were more stealthy, and I was still.
And you had more ammo.
Yeah, and I was more of gun blazing kind of guy.
How does that work out? I don't know.
I mean,
okay, maybe I wasted a lot of shots.
Anyways,
that's why I was more stealthy, because I had to be. I don't know about you, but the enemies never dropped any ammo for me.
Oh, mine dropped quite a bit.
They never dropped ammo,
because I always went for headshots. I never aimed at body parts. I always did headshots.
Yeah, I always go for headshots too, but then I'm worried about clicker number 1 behind me, and then I'm worried about this guy, and I'm worried about what's going to happen, and I'm just you know what, just die, okay? Yeah. And I was more about melee, if anything, if I had to.
Yeah.
Anyway, especially with 2x4 scissors. Oh my god, I love you. But
Anyways.
anyway, you gotta fight your way through this damn building, and like you're just so damn motivated.
It's like,
you know,
2
to fight
floors worth of guards, right?
Yeah, like the fight with the guards is just, oh my god.
Because there's
Like,
quite a few of them.
There is a lot of them, and like there's even a point in time where you have got to hide or you're dead.
I'm like, this is the only part in the game that I'm going to be, like, what's it called? Kind of don't want to play when it comes to, like, survivor mode and stuff like that. It's like...
Yeah, it's going to be a pain in the ass. And you already know it's going to be a pain in the ass.
Yeah, because it was a pain in the butt on normal.
I didn't die.
Oh, I died a few times. Oh, I died because I was like, you know what? I'll see if I can run through it. Just to see if I can run through it.
Exactly.
And
I'm just going to run through it.
I couldn't. So
throw a nail bomb and...
run for it. But anyways, like, all right, after you dispatch Marlene's army of fireflies, and then
you find Ellie.
Yeah.
Now here is a moment in the game where, how did you react?
Oh, where
doctors.
Oh, when you kick open the door and the doctor's like, you can't be in here. And
what did you do? What was your first thing you did?
Oh, I equipped the shotgun and blew them all away.
Okay, thank you, because you know if you don't, they will attack you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they will attack you with scalpels or whatnot. I didn't do that. What I did is as soon as I got in there, I did exactly what you did. I got that fucker pinned up against the wall and I blew his damn head off. And then the other ones, the other two that were in there, like the other ones were like, don't do it, please don't do it. I'm like, fuck you, die. Okay, seriously, you're gonna kill this little girl, you're dead.
The second time around, I set him on fire.
Good,
because I
deserved it.
Okay, then we rescue.
Rescue Ellie, and it's a very similar scene to how it is in the first game. You're running with the little girl in your hand, and and to me, it's like full circle. Here we've come full circle. Here we go.
History's repeating itself.
And then you're running to the end, and finally at the very end, you're going down the elevator, and Marlene greets you there with a gun, and she asks you, she goes, "Why are you doing this? Just make the right choice."
And
you know, and then it cuts to Joel in his truck.
Yeah.
With Ellie. You're like, okay, where's Ellie at? Or it's Joel in his truck. And then all of a sudden it shows her in the back seat. And then it shows you how he takes care of Marlene.
Yeah. Which
was great.
Puts one in the gut, walks over to her, puts another one into the head, and that's the end of the fireflies, basically. And then we see Joel and Ellie. Then it kind of picks up probably a couple days later at the max, probably, of them back at Jackson County, about to meet up with Tommy once again. And then they're trapped, they're walking through, and Joel, for the first time of the game, kind of opens up about Sarah. It's like, I think this is one of the first times. And it's like how she would love to, like, you two would kind of hit it off, and she'd love to go hiking and stuff.
Yeah, like you can tell, like, Joel has fully accepted Ellie as his adopted daughter, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, he really has. Like, he loves her, and he will do anything he can to protect her.
Right.
Anything.
And then they just do a little bit of climbing and talking and just kind of like banter between the two of them. And then we get to the ending, and here's the ending. Before they kind of scale down to finally to get them Tommy's, Ellie's like pulls Joel to the side and it's like, swear to me what you told me about the fireflies. And what Joel said is that there's plenty more like Ellie, and like you don't need Ellie, and so basically saying that there's more. She's not so special because there's more than one of her out there, and they're working on a vaccine, and so Joel and Ellie makes Joel swear to Ellie that what he said is true, and he's like, I swear. And there's a few twitches in her face, like, do you think she believes him?
I don't think she does.
No,
but
I don't either.
I don't think she does, but at the same time, she trusts and loves him.
Yeah, I think she is like, he must have done it because she's having survivor's guilt. That's why.
Yeah.
Because she's like, all these, like Sam and Henry and Tess and all these people are dying for her, and they didn't even really do what they set out to do, and then...
Personally, I think if he told her the truth a little bit later, she'd understand.
I think
Maybe.
I think I know I heard that this is gonna be a trilogy. So I think
Yeah.
I say maybe like I say probably the last game. If they really be pretty cool, it's like Joel's probably dead at this point, and there's a letter saying like what really happened at the camp at Salt Lake City, and
Okay, now to me you're like this. What if I told you that Rachel didn't choose you?
yeah,
She chose Harvey Dent.
exactly.
And I burnt that letter to save you the pain. That's to me, that's like what it would be kind of like.
Yeah.
I think honestly, they need to have a falling out in the second game or whatnot because she finds out the truth.
Well, anyways, we're getting ahead, and
Yeah.
and Ellie's just like okay, and that's where it ends, and I think that is probably one of the best endings to a game. It's like okay, it's like you,
Yeah, it just ended. It's okay.
it's okay,
It's how it ended. It was just like, all right.
yeah,
Okay.
and that's pretty much the journey of Joel and Ellie to do nothing. Even though they did so much, they really didn't accomplish anything, and that's what, like the quote Clerks, it's just nothing but a series of down endings, like Empire Strikes Back, and it's like, yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, and it's just we're gonna get to this point to get to this point where we did all this and we're here now. But it's to me, it's the journey of how we got there, not the ending of the result. And it's just like this is the game that you want to take that journey to get to the ending because
it's like
I don't know about you, I waited out to the credits. I was like, where's that? 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 And then nothing happened. I was like, oh, well, okay, all right. You know what? I'm good with that.
It's like getting the golden ticket to Willy Wonka's factory, and you go in there, and it's just two people pulling levers. You know, it's like
Yeah.
that's all it is, really. And it's like, but it's like, I mean, then when they walk back out and like, what was I expecting? Like, Hall was made out of candy and stuff like that. It's a factory, but it's like, all right, okay, that's all it is. It's okay. But oh, man, I love the story. Even though people say it's, I mean, we've seen it quite a few times, but it still seemed fresh.
You know what? There is no originality left in the world, so people can back the hell off.
Yeah.
Understand something. They took a story that has been told a few times. They told it better than anybody else has ever done, and I damn you to find me somebody who's told a better story in this particular situation or scenario, or even that matter of fact, told me a better story, because this game is better than any movie that's been released this year, or even last year, or the previous couple years. Okay?
There's a few movies that've been better.
I don't know. I'm talking about maybe script-wise or whatnot. Sure. There is no other, there's no medium that I've cared about more character than Ellie than I have about, you know what I mean? I'm just saying I cared more about her well-being than I did anything else.
Yeah. I'm okay. Anyways, I know what you're getting at, and I mean, I agree. This is why video games should be considered art. This game right here, and
you know what? No, I don't, because art is its own thing. Video games are its own medium.
No.
In a way, are they art? Yes.
That's the whole debate is video games art, and I'm like, yes, they are, because because movies are considered art, and because of the artistic value of moving the camera and script and dialogue, and it's like that's exactly what games are. It's like, but you are more interactive with it.
Whenever you think of games, you think of Call of Duty, but I mean, when you play a game like this, or a game like BioShock Infinite, which I will compare the two. You know, they both did.
No, you can't.
They both have told stories that, you know. What's really funny about both these games, though, both those games, is they had the companions that you cared about, you know, and maybe that added a new element into it. But what I'm saying though is these games made me more invested in the story and more invested in what was going to happen to these characters than any other medium has had in quite some time.
All right, I got a question for you then.
What's that?
Since this is we're to the tail end of this generation's systems, the PS3 and Xbox and Wii, out of you think this is one of the best games for this generation's PS3? PS3.
I think it is the best game of the PS3 generation.
So it's like
I think it is the PlayStation 3's ultimate swan song.
Okay, what's your top three? Okay, so let's do our top three ultimate story-based video games for the system. Mine are Red Dead, Last of Us, and I'd probably have to say I loved Saints Row 3. And so it's like, because you got your Western for action, then you got your drama for Last of Us, then you got your comedy and over the top with Saints Row. It's like these, and the storyline for Saints Row is pretty good. So, and I mean, you can even throw what's it called, Metal Gear in there for your military and stuff like that. But I mean, I liked Metal Gear its own self, I think.
Yeah.
So, but you can't. But in terms of like similar aspects, I think it's what's it called? Saints Row, Last of Us, and
Red Dead.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, you're like you love Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, we covered this.
Yeah.
Okay.
My top three.
Yeah.
All honesty, I will say my top three for this system are, and I've already mentioned all three of them in here. First and foremost, the first one is The Last of Us. I do think this is the best game of the PlayStation 3, and I think everybody needs to play it. Okay, it's to me just a single player. We didn't even talk about the multiplayer.
Yeah.
We didn't even have to.
Yeah.
The single player is amazing. Like, wow. We just spent an hour and a half talking about it with you. That's how amazing it is.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
BioShock Infinite
Yeah.
is number 2. Okay. This game
do you still have that game, by the way?
Yeah, I still have it.
Oh, you should bring it up.
This game, outstanding. Like, I wasn't even a fan of the first BioShock 1 or 2. I mean, I like 2. But just in the first hour of BioShock Infinite, I was hooked. Literally. Okay. Anybody who's played BioShock Infinite will get that joke. Right. There's it's one of those things where the story, you're so invested in it.
All right,
and then,
next one.
Yeah. The next one is Uncharted 2.
Oh, yeah.
Which, for a while, to me, was the precipice of video gaming. And to this day, it holds so well.
It is a really good game, which is also made by Naughty Dog.
Yeah, it took Uncharted 1 and it made it better. And it's like, really, you're going to make a really good game amazing. Like, wow. Yeah. Because I think the scene in there where I fell in love with it in Uncharted 2 was when I'm carrying Jeff.
Okay, when he got shot.
When Jeff got shot, and then I got to carry him. And then at the end, he gets shot. And Naughty Dog has this way of making me do things that are pointless.
Yeah, exactly. That should be Naughty Dog's tagline. We're gonna make you do things, and then whatever you said, make you do things, and it's pointless in the end. And it's like, okay, well, okay. Well,
it's almost the point of me going to find these secret cities and then me destroying them.
It's like, okay, it's like no one will be able to enjoy it, but at least I know I've been there.
Yeah. It's like, I found it, guys, but there's nothing there. And then they let Sully, of course, like, I grabbed some gold while you were dying.
Oh, man. It's like, El Dorado sank. I mean, the golden statue sank. The
golden statue sank. The city of
Shambhala.
What? Shambhala was the last one, wasn't it? Shangri-La was the last one?
Yeah. No, third one. That's the second one.
Shangri-La is the second one, right?
Yeah, and
just gets... Shangri-La was the second one, and then Shangri-La is destroyed by gigantic blue people. And then the other one is destroyed by the Saint and a man that looks like he could be Drake's brother. Talbot. Just saying. He just looks like it.
Yeah. Okay, well, anyways, we're going on an hour and 50 minutes into this. any last kind of praises you want to give this game?
Thank you, Naughty Dog, for giving me a game that doesn't make me feel ashamed of enjoying games.
Oh, by the way, I'm sorry to cut you off. There's some bonuses that you unlock as like the render modes, like they did in the Uncharted series, like be able to like black and white and stuff. I highly recommend playing it in your second playthrough in black and white. It's awesome. I played.
Did you do the whole way?
Yeah, I played it the second way all the way through.
Oh wow! Does it give an added element to it?
Oh yes, it's so much funner. I mean, it kind of gives you a nice little science fiction feel.
Kind of like a 1950s feel to it.
Yeah, because it's kind of like the Mist, kind of. Because I got a copy of the Mist in black and white as well, and it kind of it makes it a little. It's same movie.
You just kind of want that lettering to appear on the screen.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay, yeah, I might have to try it out.
And okay, well, my final praises is that even though it took me a while to beat it,
it did.
How long? Hold on. How long did it take you to beat it?
3 days.
No,
3 sit-downs.
Hour wise.
What
was your final?
10 hours. 10 hours.
10 hours. Mine was 13. Both playthroughs.
Yeah.
And so
mine was 10 hours.
And
which might explain why you had more ammo.
Oh yeah, because I spent that 3 extra hours searching for stuff, and so
you found it.
Yeah, I found it, and there you go. I think this game is it's going to remain on my shelf permanently. That's my highest praise.
And the top praise I can give this game is I didn't give a shit about the trophies.
Yes, I agree with that one too, because I was going into this game for the game, the story, the characters, the shooting, the stealth, the monsters, everything, and at the very bottom of the list was trophies. And I've read that a few people were complaining about the not enough trophies going out through the game, but I don't care. It was just better that way.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah. So, okay, well, what? We're done?
I guess.
Okay, well, we can chill out 10 more minutes if we want to. About multiplayer. Did you like the multiplayer?
I do. It's a lot different than I thought it would be.
I think it's fun.
It is. It really is. I mean, it's different, and it adds certain elements to it.
Especially when you get to add your Facebook friends to the mix.
And watch everyone die.
Yeah. Oh, poor you and the Fireflies got raided. Oh.
Those Fireflies raided me.
Oh, man. Anyway, okay, let's sign out. As always, my name is Max James. I'm one half of the TTN. What's your name? Meh.
My name is Scott Cooper, and we are the 2-Ton Nerds. Bum, ba, bum, bum.
And we are going to go geek out.